Hey friends, it's Josh from Fucking Welcome to Cinema. Today we're going to be talking about the Marvel She-Hulk show, which finally just dropped on Disney Plus. So we're going to get into it and let me know down in the comments below your own take on it. This is going to be spoiler free, so be sure to keep the comments spoiler free as well. And overall, generally this show wasn't my favorite thing. I do have a background where I do really enjoy the Hulk character. Going into the different Hulk movies, especially in the 80s or 90s, those Hulk movies or even the 2003 Hulk, I really enjoy those, but getting into MCU Hulk, it's a little lesser, but still good, so I enjoy the Hulk character and his dual personality, man versus beast, and so getting into She-Hulk, I was fairly excited for it, just in the general scheme of things, just getting to know this character that I've heard breaks the fourth wall, and they utilize that throughout the show, but ultimately some of the fourth wall breaks weren't utilized to the best of their advantage. It doesn't translate well to screen because of the way they're also inconsistent with the use of that technique, because sometimes she breaks the fourth wall talking to the camera and people are asking her who she's talking to, and other times she's talking to the camera and people don't acknowledge she's talking, and so it becomes inconsistent in that manner. The action was alright throughout the show, but also a big thing throughout the show, and even on to the 8th episode, there were moments where the CGI was still bugging me, the way they're animating She-Hulk and the VFX effects clearly weren't very complete, as there's been problems in the past with the MCU and everything that has to go with that, and it just was an eyesore at times just to look at She-Hulk, and she was oftentimes the central focus, of course, when they weren't focusing on Jennifer. And there were some cool techniques with the story and the plot where Jennifer was trying to figure herself out and wanting to be Jennifer as an important character, and so she learned more along the end, and just the way they go about that is alright, but when you're getting all these different side characters, it just wasn't too compelling with the way they were writing it. The law court cases weren't the best written. It didn't feel believable or immersible to where, like, I can really enjoy the drama once you get a good law court, but this one just didn't work too well. It was just with the way they're going about Emil or Titania. The cases weren't all too interesting. Well, Emil was with the Abomination, but they quickly subsided and pushed him aside, at least near the beginning, and it was nice to see Abomination back, but they didn't utilize him to the fullest that I really was hoping to really get out of it, and so it was a little disappointing in that scheme of things and what they were going about with the Abomination. And Titania was another character which didn't have a whole lot to offer, was very confusing. I'm not sure how popular she is, or even some of these other quirky villains are in the comics, but they weren't written in the show to be very compelling at all. I was confused to why certain characters were returning just in the way they're going about doing that, and there were choices made that it was fine, especially with the very beginning where they're doing the origin and what they're doing, her relationship with Hulk, and of course Hulk isn't there throughout the whole show, and so just the cousin relationship with that was fine, and what they were choosing to do was just alright, but nothing ever really clicked, and that's what made each episode every week feel just a little bit more boring every time. And like, some were written better than others, but not by much compared to what you're seeing with the MCU shows. And even though some of the 6-episode MCU shows haven't been doing the best, and so I was a little more hopeful given this 9-episode runtime, but unfortunately those 3 extra episodes still didn't focus on the plot. Each episode gave you a separate thing, and while some things came together near the end, it ultimately, like, it gave a cheap way out of their problems, and I'm not going too deep into that, but just the way they do that with the characters utilized were just not so immersive again to the plot itself. And so that's where I have to give She-Hulk show a 2.5 out of 10. And that's just my personal thoughts, but I'd love to know yours in the comments below, where it lands amongst the other other MCU shows. And I'd love to know all that. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.